Man, I think in my own life, all of us, myself included, we have these ups and downs, right? There's times that we feel like all around us there's chaos or confusion, and there's this quest or this need for something more, or this decision or this desire to see things change. And every time I have the opportunity to talk to people about that, it's the idea of there's got to be something that's bigger than me, like something that's bigger than myself,
Hello, this is Marco Rock. Welcome to Marco Rock TV. My name is Marco Rock. I'm your host for Inside a Great Mind, where we interview entrepreneurs, game changers, leaders for a purpose to inspire and inform you. Today, we're so thrilled to have Adam Washburn on the show. Adam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Tell us, who's Adam Washburn?
Who is Adam Washburn? That's a great question. Well, I'd say first and foremost, I'm a husband and a father, married to my wife Holly for 10 years, going on 11, and also am a dad to two amazing, wonderful boys that are 6 and 3. And then outside of that, and maybe even right alongside of that, at the very top of that, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. Been saved almost my whole life. And through that, I'm a pastor as well. So I have the opportunity to be the worship pastor here at Life.Church Omaha. Have been in ministry for about 15 years now, and on staff with Life.Church almost 3.
Great. Why and how did you become a pastor? What was the calling?
Oh man, absolutely a calling, yes. I remember, so I grew up in church, and I remember we'd go to these summer camps and youth all the time. Like as kids, we'd go, and around 16 years old, we went to a summer camp out, and there was a speaker there. His name is Matthew Barnett. He pastors a church in the LA area, and he was speaking, and he started this amazing organization called the Dream Center, where they help people in need and even house people and stuff. And he was talking about ministry, and he was talking about purpose, and he was talking about calling. And I was, like I said, 16, and I'd been serving in our church, like helping out with youth, with worship. Music's always kind of been my thing. And as he was speaking, I just felt this like incredible sense of like, this is me. Like this resonates with me so much, And at the very end of his message, he did a call out. He's like, if you feel, like I feel like there are people here that feel this calling into ministry. If that's you, raise your hand. And my hands just shot up. And it was at that moment, like really 16, 17 years old, that I knew that God was calling me into ministry. And honestly, even at that young age, I went 100% that direction. I've never really looked back, And so from that, I just began serving and, found my way into a role in the church and have been doing that ever since. And so very much a calling, absolutely.
So as you know, we're living in a really challenging time.
Yeah.
What do you make up of this?
Yeah, wow. I mean, it is crazy, right? I mean, in one way, it feels like a zombie apocalypse. In another way, it's just kind of an interesting, just change in our lives. And it's one of those that I think is easy for people, myself included, my wife, as we talk about it, to just feel this disconnect from reality a little bit. Like, what is happening around us? Fear loves to set in. Uncertainty loves to set in. There's all kinds of questions that are raised, and it's a confusing time, People are looking for answers.
But then how do we find peace in the midst of all this heartbreak?
Yeah. I think that that quest for peace really is nothing new. In this season of quarantine and maybe isolation or confusion, that desire increases, right? For me, that peace just comes back down to Jesus Christ. It comes back down into that belief in a God of peace, contributing to something bigger than ourselves and finding that hope that's in Him.
I love the part that hope, you know, hope fulfillment.
Yeah.
How do we get to that? You know,
Hope fulfillment.
We know that people might be hungry for to hear something, either the gospel, either something that hope that reassure them there's a better future.
Yeah.
But how do you tell people?
Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah. What do we tell people that are looking for hope, right? Man, I think in my own life, all of us, myself included, we have these ups and downs, right? There's times that we feel like all around us there's chaos or confusion, and there's this quest or this need for something more, you know, or this decision or this desire to see things change. And every time I have the opportunity to talk to people about that, it's the idea of there's got to be something that's bigger than me, like something that's bigger than myself, you know. And I think when we move away from hope is we get caught up right here. Like we get caught up in our mind, and we get caught up in the things that are around us. And it's almost like this wall gets put up in front of us to where we can't see beyond that, you know. For some of us, that might be coronavirus or a lack of employment or some sickness maybe even. And it's just that's the thing we see. And I think looking for hope is being able to maybe look beyond that wall that's in front of us right now towards that thing that is bigger than us, right? And so obviously as a pastor, the number one thing I'm encouraging people to is to look towards God, look towards Jesus as our hope, right? The Bible tells us that there's a peace of God that surpasses anything that we understand, that can guard our heart and our mind. And when we find that, we anchor to that first, then we can begin to look and see beyond like the right now. God tells us that He has a future for us, a hope for us, a plan for us. And as we get our mind off of that moment that's right now and begin to maybe write down a vision or a plan or a purpose for what is beyond right now. My wife and I, we like to dream. Like we'll sit there, and it could be in little things. It could be in what is the long-term, big picture, huge plan for our life to where's the next vacation? Like where can we go? What are some things we could do as we kind of sit down and dream and plan and think? Like that is hope for the future and lifts us out of this moment that might be heavy.
So you think somebody who's have a lot of fear built up in themselves, you know, fear of like, you know, hey, financial, they cannot be able to pay for things, fear of uncertainty. How do that hope play in that person's life at this particular time?
Yeah. I mean, those fears are real. And I don't know that it's ignoring or denying that there's this real fear that's there. But I wonder how much of it is if we can, instead of living there and just chewing on and dwelling on this fear, what if we can contribute outside of that, you know? For me, one of the best ways that we can do that is through serving others, right? Get out of ourselves for a minute, you know? Yes, we have need, and like we talk about financial impact, you just said that's a real fear and a real need for people. There's things though that we can do to serve others and love other people that don't require money. You know, maybe that's going down to the soup kitchen and helping. I mean, just this week, our church, we said, hey, if you're spring cleaning, all those things that are living out in your house that you're going to get rid of, man, let's gather those. Let's give them to the Open Door Mission here in town. And so we had people all across our church filled this room up with items to give to somebody else, you know. What does that do? I mean, it takes us out of ourselves for a minute and allows us to contribute and serve other people. And I think it's in that act of service that we can maybe find a little bit of fulfillment and a little bit of hope.
Well, if Adam has a power to make one positive change in the world, what would that be?
Man, superpower. That's a great question. I like to think, in general, I have the ability to encourage someone. You know, encouragement I think can be an overlooked superpower. I love looking into people's eyes when they are feeling down and just calling out the things that are good in them, that God's put in them, the purpose that He's created in them, And because every single one of us has that, you know. And so I love to encourage people, and I'll do that as much as I possibly can.
If you were to be an animal, which one would you be and why?
If I'm an animal, which one would it be? Man, I got to tell you, forever, I love the great American bald eagle. They are fierce, they soar, they can see well beyond what's in front of them. They have vision, and they're strong, independent creatures. I like to think that maybe there's a little parallel there with me. I don't know, but I like to think that.
Adam, what would be your last advice, tip, or word, encouragement, like you say, like to encourage people to my audience?
Yeah, I would just say that no matter where you're at, no matter what's going on, whether things are super great and life is good, even in the middle of this craziness, or whether things are a little bit tumultuous, whether they're hard, what's happening today is not the end. Like, there is a massive future ahead of us. We will all get through this season that we're in, and that God has a purpose and a plan and a destiny for you. So, man, hang on, keep going, keep grinding, keep pursuing. Don't stop here, but keep pressing on, because there's a bright future ahead.
Adam, how can people find more information about you if they want to contact you?
Yeah, the social media channels are all great. I'm on Instagram at Adam Washburn. Facebook.com/Adam J. Washburn would be the best ways to get a hold of me.
Adam, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Marco.